Hey gang, this is Mike with my Real Estate Dojo. In the next few minutes, I'm going to show you 42 ways of guerrilla marketing for entrepreneurship, okay? And in reality, it's a chest, it's a treasure chest that I've scratched up and made through years of being an entrepreneur since high school, okay? So let's pull the curtains back and get started without any fluff. The number one thing, okay, now there's items that I'm telling, they're not in a certain priority. I'm just spitting it out, okay? I'm freestyling. So the first thing, guerrilla marketing, is flyers. Now you guys thinking, well man, flyers are stupid and this is old, this is that. But give me a second and hopefully I can show you that flyers is a great marketing strategy for your business. Doesn't matter if you're a realtor, you're an investor, you sell pizza, whatever, okay? Now, when we go home, it doesn't matter if we live in an apartment or we live in a house, we only have one front door. That's it, dude, one front door, okay? So, but if you compare that to the mailbox, in the mailbox, there's so many junk in there. Where in your front door, usually there's nothing. Sometimes there's something, and it's probably like a restaurant or a pizza or something, right? And you probably ordered from that because one day you put it on your refrigerator and you were hungry and you came and you ordered from that, okay? So flyers are very powerful because we all have one entry to our home, and when you put something at the door, there's a good probability the customer's gonna, when they open the door, they put the key in, they're gonna pick your flyers up, okay? Now, I've been doing flyers since, like I said, I can't remember, since high school, and I've came up with different strategies, you know, where to put the flyer, okay? I'll share some of these with you, but with the flyers, I'm gonna explain different ideas too, but give me 1 second, let me talk about the flyers at houses, okay, or at apartment doors, okay? So whenever you put the flyer, some people put it like right on the little door, little thing on the bottom, or too high or something like that. I don't do it that way. What I do is I do it two ways. I like to put it right on the eye level. So when the person's going to stick their key in, they're looking right at their eye level. I try to guess what that is, so they get to read that or scan that for a few seconds. Okay. The other thing that works really good with flyers is that I put that little tape on the keychain, on the keyhole, so they have to actually, with one hand, pick it up and kind of look at it while they stick the other key in there. Okay. I love flyers. They work in my real estate business, moving company. I mean, I use them all the time. I used to have crews with vans and people that we went and did distribution from, like, we would start from Dallas, hit Arlington, hit Grand Prairie, you know, just have it like a route, okay? 2 or 3 vans full of people just hitting up flyers. Now, flyers can be divided up to 2 types, okay? Places where you go and you have to get one every door, where I call dedicated flyers, okay? We have to get every door, and that takes a lot of labor, okay, and a lot of money, but again, the return on investment for me was extremely great. The other thing is where you kind of do like shared flyers, and what that means is, a great example is if you go to apartment communities, they all have what's called a mail center, and if you go to the mail center, you'll see them having the mailboxes here. On the very top of the mailboxes is usually like a little wood or a little the wall, whatever it's called, drywall, and you can just take a couple of flyers on the wall. And this doesn't require that much labor because you don't have to go up to all of the stairs, you don't have to go by all the doors. You just go to a big community like an apartment complex and you put flyers in the apartment mail center on the walls. And when people every day check their mails, you only have to put 3 or 4 up or 5 up and people get to see it. So what I'm saying with this strategy, the share strategy, is that if you find places that a lot of people gather or hover around for whatever reason, like a mail center, you're able to spend very little labor because it doesn't take a lot of, instead of having like 3 vans with people filled in it so you can hit up all these houses, thousands of apartments door to door, you may only need two crews, one guy driving and the other guy driving, and that's it, dude. And they're just going from apartment to apartment to apartment to apartment to apartment and just flyering the area, guys. Now with the flyer thing, I've gotten tickets before with my moving companies, very small percent. Like since I've been in business with my moving company, it was like 14, 15 years. I think we got 2 tickets, and it was all in Louisville because they're very strict there. But I didn't care because it was like cost of marketing, dude. It was just like when the ticket came, I paid the $200, but it was more effective than if I ran an ad in the news and I got $1,000 and I paid it them and I got a return. Or I've done Valpak, or I've done radio, I've done so many other crap, and the return that I got on the flyers was way, way, way more. Okay, all right. So that's one type of guerrilla marketing. Now, you could take the flyers if you even want to go King Kong guerrilla. Okay, instead of spending money on, let's say, door hangers or spending money on beautiful flyers, what I used to do when I was in high school and college is I would get an 8x11 piece of paper. Okay, let's assume this is an 8x11 piece of paper, and what I would do is I would design my flyers to be like a business card size. So like almost like 11 or 10 would fit on the page. So it would go like this, right? And then once I printed, I had one of these big old things I had bought from Staples that cut, right? And I would sit at home and just cut this. Again, remember, I was broke. I was in high school. I was in college. I was trying to do the most guerrilla marketing possible. I didn't want to spend any money because I had to pay for food. I didn't have any money, right? I used to ride my bicycle instead of my car because I didn't have any gas money. So what I would do is, I didn't even have the money to print this stuff, right? So what I would do is I would go to the apartment complexes, and they all had business centers. They had computers, printers. So I would use these people's stuff. You know what I'm saying? I had to come up, dude. All right. I guess I stole paper and ink, but I helped move a lot of people in the same apartments later on when I had my moving company. So what I would do is, again, if you want to be on the really cheap side, and get really good return on your investment, you get 8x11. You design almost business cards, and I don't remember right now if it was 10 or 22 or some ridiculous number would fit on 8x11. Then you could cut them yourself, or you could pay like Office Max or Staples for them to cut it, right? They have this little laser real quick, and they'll wrap it up in like a little shrink bag. And then what happens is you would have like little stacks like this. It looks like money, and all wrapped up in shrink wrap if you do like Staples or Office Max, which is great because when you print out like 500, a ring with 500, the way I'm telling you, with multiple ads on the business card, you're going to get a lot of flyers. Like you could spend couple of bucks and really have tons of flyers, where if you went with door hangers, it would cost you a lot more money, like an arm and a leg. Or if you went with 8x11, and I wouldn't even use 8x11, dude. The biggest size I would use on a flyer for doors is a postcard size, which is like 4x6, okay? Just an average postcard, because you're wasting the resources, okay? All right, so the reason I like the smaller one, you save the planet, you save yourself a lot of money, and it works. Now, guys, don't use white paper or black. What you need to use is these flashy colors that gets people's attention. Like what I use is hot pink, hot green, stuff that just like get people's attention, because what I'm trying to do is be a pattern disturber, okay? And back in high school, I don't recommend this anymore, but back in high school, what I would do is when I go to the mail centers, I just told you guys to put it on the wall. Well, what I would do actually is, when you go to some apartment complexes, there's like 2 walls that goes like this, and they used to have 2 mailboxes on both sides. A lot of apartments where I lived. And what I would do is I would take the little flyers and I would bend them and I would stick them on the walls. So whenever you walked in, it was actually a 3D of all these green things sticking out. So instead of them being flat on the wall like this, I had them kind of like bent like this, and I would have a little tape on it, and so it would stick like this. But it wouldn't be so big and flimsy. It would be actually smaller. So they'd be sticking out vertically and all down in a row. So when people come in, they're like, what the hell is this? And I would just take one and see what this was. Took a little bit more time, took tape, but it's good return, man. I used to do that for personal training. I was in high school and I was selling these older people that were like 30, 35, and they were giving me $1,200, $600 for 6 session or 12 session or whatever it is, okay? So now we talked about flyers, and there's 2 types. You can do what I call dedicated, which is like door to door. You can do houses door to door. You can do apartments door to door, businesses door to door, or we could do what's called shared. Like apartment complexes or like, food centers or whatever people go to, like Starbucks, okay? Use your imagination, okay? Football games or what have you. All right, the next one, let's go to guerrilla marketing number 2. It's called sponsoring. Now, you're like, well, what is this, Mike? I'll give you a great example. When I had my moving company, I had my orange shirts that says, Dr. Move, moving, Dr. Move, and the phone number and the domain name. And what I would do is, at that time I worked out all the time, and I went to all the gyms, and I knew all the big buff people, okay? And I would go to them, and I always introduce myself and say, look, dude, you look great. I like to sponsor you, and here's what I do. If you wear my shirt every day you work out, and I knew these guys would come in here and work out. I wouldn't just talk to some Joe that never came to the gym, dude. I would go there and I would watch them. And I would look for leaders, that people gravitate to them. I wouldn't just get the buffest guy that was a solo guy that never talked to anybody. No. I would go there, I'd scout out, I find the people. Sometimes it wasn't the best people that were in shape, but just the people that were leaders, people gravitated to them, and they were in shape. And what I would go do and say, look, dude, I'm going to give you $400 a month. You just got to wear my shirt. Do you want it? Every single fucking one of them, dude, said that. We'll take it. I had a guy in Carrollton. Guy was a chiropractor, so a doctor, right? He still did it, okay? So even people that make good money, they'll still take this fucking offer. Why? They're at the gym anyways. They feel good because you admire their body and you're willing to sponsor them. And guess what, dude? And you can set up it different ways, like, hey, if I get X many people, I'll give you bonus for each one, or you can just do it flat. I give you $400 a month. That's it. Or I'll pay for your cell phone. However you want to structure. At that time, I was balling, so I didn't give a fuck to give these guys $400 because I had multiple different gyms. So somebody went from, let's say, Addison, and they went to Carrollton. They saw another Dr. Move. Now, check this out, guys. This is what the power of comboing it. What I would do is I would have the guy at the gym wear the shirt, and then on that week, right, I would have my crew go out there and flyer that area. So guess what? People were at the gym. It was a big gym. They went there. They saw a guy wearing a gym. They see my car going up there. Sometimes it says Dr. Move. Okay? And then that same day they went home, and at their apartment or at their house they saw the Dr. Move. Guess what, dude? Branding, right? So I always combine multiple of these guerrilla strategies to not just have, I try to do one, boom, okay? And so if you combine the flyer and you combine this sponsorship in that local area, you're going to get a bigger bang for your money, guys. Excuse me, let me get a glass of water. And let me look at my notes because I don't want to skip something. All right. Now, let's go to the next one, guys. T-shirts. Now, the one before I talked about, I give these sponsors a T-shirt. It's different than having a T-shirt. If you have a T-shirt, let's say you buy houses, or you own a moving company, or cleaning business, or photo, whatever it is, and you wear it every day, dude. Many of us are sporting Polo, or sporting Tommy, or sporting Gucci, or whatever the fuck, right? Why shouldn't we start our own company, right? And if you go back, watch my videos when I had everything. I had my companies. Now I'm a minimalist. I only have like 4 shirts, 4 pants, etc. But if you go back, I always wore my own brand. I didn't want to wear somebody else's brand, dude. So everywhere I went, if I went to the gym, I had one of my 3 company shirts. If it was Plug and Realty, if it was Mr. Investor, if it was Dr. Move, constantly wearing that. If I went to the store, I went to Starbucks, I went out, I didn't give a fuck, dude. I went to the family reunion, I'm wearing my shirt, dude. And guess what? When I went to the grocery store, everywhere I went, people always talking to me. If it's, hey, them giving me their services, like, hey, I'm a plumber, I'm this, or they're like, hey, I have a customer, or how much do you charge, or whatever. So a shirt may cost you $10-20, and guess what? It has significant shelf life. Now let's talk about shelf life, okay? One of the things that I do when I try to do guerrilla marketing, I don't want spontaneous marketing. What does that mean? Like, I do this shit and it's gone. Like, Facebook timeline is kind of like that, dude. It's kind of like shitty, right? I've got to constantly provide content. Versus, let's say, YouTube. I do that video, and it's a search engine. It's constantly people are searching for it. Now, let's talk about the 2 guerrilla marketing ideas I've given you. Flyers. Guys, flyers have significant shelf life, especially if it's that business size like I told you, because what happens is people will get that and put it into their wallet or put it in their purse. How do I know? Guys, I've been in business for my moving for 14, 15 years. The first 7 years I was picking up the phone myself, even though I had called people because I want to make sure we tracked our marketing. I can't tell you how many people will tell me 6 months later, 7 months later, hey, I got a flyer on your door and I just put it in my purse, or I put it on my refrigerator and now we're moving, dude, 6 months later. So the shelf life on a flyer is so good. Shelf life on a t-shirt is so good. Does that make sense, guys? And so the thing is, you want to do marketing that has significant shelf life, which means that the cost of that marketing starts getting less and less and less and less over time because it gives you more and more. And notice that most of this marketing I just told you, they all have great shelf life. You make a t-shirt, it's going to last for a long time. You give it to people. All right? Flyers, the same thing. Now, flyers has less shelf life, but I can promise you, and I can put my life on it, there's going to be a of people that you put flyers on their door, they'll reach out to you 6 months later, a year later, and say, oh, I got a flyer on my door. I just saved it. I put everything on that, okay? All right, let's go to the next idea. Let me get some water, guys. If you guys have any questions, let me know. I'll be happy to answer them for you. Awesome. Huh?
It says, when you were talking about the flyers, it says, find someone that works for USPS, offer a couple of bucks, and they might deliver them to the area they're running.
That's a great idea. I like the guerrilla marketing idea with that. And there will be people out there that will accept that offer, my friend. Okay? But I have family members that work for UPS and FedEx. They love their job. They make a lot of fucking money. And they wouldn't risk it because I asked them that before. So, but I like that. But I'm sure there's somebody out there that will. Okay. Now, what you can do with the UPS and FedEx guy is to have them be scouts for you when they're driving around. They're driving all the time. Say, hey, do you ever see houses that have big weeds on them, or do you ever see houses that have a bunch of flyers in the front of their door? Because those are signs of houses that don't have love, which shows motivation, guys. Okay. So, but you're on the right idea. But I asked my cousin, I asked family member. You know, those truck drivers for UPS, FedEx, dude, they make $75K. They make a lot of money, and they don't want to jeopardize their fucking income because they get benefits for, $1,000 or something. But they could scout for you because it's not against their, rules and regulations. They're driving, they see it, it's kind of, do you understand what I'm saying? Where if they have to put the content out there, then they could get fired for that. But some of them will. Don't take my word for it. Let's go to the next idea. If you guys have questions, any other questions? Okay, let's go to the next idea. The next idea is a car wrap. Now, there's two types of car wraps. You have a full wrap, like what I had as Mr. Investor on my smart car. That thing right there is going to cost you roughly about $1,500 to $2,000. Okay. Now, that's a lot of money, and I'm not saying that it's not. But it's worth every fucking penny of it 1,000 times more, okay? But before I go into that, I want to talk about the other option. The other option is when you get this little car magnet and you put it on your car. And the third option is where you do vinyl. It's not a full wrap. It's not color. You could get like maybe one or two colors. And you could probably get a full vinyl wrap, where everything's not wrapped, but you got 60%, 70% of it wrapped with just one or two, three different colors, probably like $200 or $300. Okay, but if you want to get a full wrap like the one I have on Mr. Investor, if you haven't seen it, check out my Facebook, Instagram, my YouTube videos. You'll see it. Now the full wrap is way better than the half wrap. But like now I said, the half wrap is way better than no wrap. Okay, does that make sense, guys? Now, when you get the half wrap and the full wrap, you're gonna get customers, you're gonna get leads, you're gonna build credibility, and you're just doing yourself from the other people. I didn't say that right. You're making yourself look different than other people, and that's the whole key. You want to be a pattern interrupter instead of being like the herd. Okay. The partial wrap, the ones you get from the magnet, are cheap, dude. I would highly recommend anybody that's in business to get one of those, dude. Okay, it may cost you $50. A couple of places you can go is Overnight Prints. That's one of my favorite ones, and the other one is God Print. Okay, God Print is way cheaper than Overnight Prints, but check them out, dude. You could order a magnet, maybe like $50, $100, multicolors. Put it on your car. It doesn't hurt to paint. Both of these options don't hurt the paint. The one that you do vinyl, if you leave it there for a very long time, it does. But when you do a full wrap, it does not hurt the paint. That's why you're paying $2,000 for it. Okay, and the magnet doesn't hurt the paint. I guess you can. I'm not an expert of it, but I've been wrapping my car since high school with my personal training. I never had this is the very first time in my life that I have a car that's not wrapped. And all my life, every business I own, I always wrapped it. It always worked for me. Now let's talk about some of the benefits. Is that you're able to be a pattern disruptor. Okay. 2, it has a lot of shelf life. When you pay $200 to get your car wrapped partially, now your car, instead of being a liability, you got to pay gas, insurance, tire maintenance, oil changes. Instead of being a liability for you, you're actually an income producing asset for you. You're driving it around, people are seeing it, vendors are seeing it, customers are seeing it, you're building your brand. So instead of you dishing out money to this car, now the car is giving you money, okay? Same with the full wrap. Now, which one is better? Full wrap compared to half wrap. Again, a half wrap is better than no wrap. If you have a half wrap, you could probably get about 3 or 4 customers a year from that, okay? Because it's not that noticeable. If you have a full wrap, in my business, I would get anywhere from like 10 to 12 customers a year. Now, guy says, well, that's not too much, and I could do radio, yeah, dude. When you do something like $2,000, boom, it doesn't have a shelf life. I had that car, and I put like 80,000 miles on it, right? All that time I was advertising for that $2,000 that I paid for it. I get customers. I got so many vendors. I got so many people come up to me. Sometimes I hated driving that car because there wasn't a day that I would drive it and people come up to me, dude. They would come up there with their kids, want to take a picture. Or they would come up there and try to solicit to me with their plumbing services or roofing services. Or they'll come up there and say, hey, do you buy my house? Or hey, do you do notes? And I mean, all kinds of people, dude. Sometimes it's shitty driving it because you got so much attention. But that's why you might want to have 2 cars, or you might want to do a partial wrap so you can take those things off, dude. But does it work? Absolutely. The shelf life is just so badass on it that it doesn't compare to anything else, guys.
What were the 2 companies that you mentioned for the wrap? Where would you look for a wrap?
For a wrap? Okay, if you want a car wrap, what you have to do is Google that in your local area. What I told you about those 2 other companies are for printing. If you want printing, these are the cheapest printing. Don't go to Office Max or all these stuff because they're going to charge you arm and a leg. These 2 are all online, but the disadvantage is that you have to be able to deliver your artwork to their requirements. But they're set up where you upload, it straight goes to the printer, right? So it's not the old-fashioned printer. But man, you get this shit so cheap. I remember man, I would order thousands of dollars in flyers a month for my 3 companies. I mean, like boxes and boxes, and we'd go through them. Like I said, I would have crews that drove around. That's all their job was, to pass out flyers, okay? If it was dedicated or shared, I would alternate. But one is called Overnight Print. The other one's called God Print. Very good company. I like God Print a lot better. They're a lot cheaper. But the price difference is like 10 times, 20 times. I mean, I would order, let's say, 10,000 door hangers at the local print shop. They want to cost me so much money, like thousands of thousands. And I would just order the same exact thing from God Print, and I would just give them like 1,000. These guys want 5,000, 6,000 or whatever. Full color, UV coating, front and back. I mean, just ridiculous price difference, guys. But again, you might have to spend that one-time money for an IT designer. There's a guy on my Facebook. If you guys want it, I'll put it down there. You could maybe holler for him. And all you got to do is just get the resolutions and the bleeding correctly so you get that really professional print. But it's top quality. Pizza Hut, Coca-Cola, these guys, everybody's using these guys, man. All right, let's go to the next ideas. Good questions. Keep them coming. All right. The next guerrilla marketing, okay? I forgot what number I am. SMS marketing, guys. Cell phone marketing. Everybody and their mama has a cell phone. Even fucking kids this big, dude, and kids this big, okay? Everybody has a cell phone, okay? Everybody. I carry my cell phone when I go to the dumper. Right? I'm in there checking my emails, doing a couple of posts, trying to do marketing, right? Checking my PayPal. Maybe you don't, but so many people do, right? And we have it all the time. So where am I trying to go? SMS marketing, without a doubt, is the most cost efficient. It blows away flyer marketing because the cost efficient. I don't need all the fucking labor. There's 2 ways you can do SMS marketing, okay? Or 3 ways. You can do it through your own phone. They just get that boom, 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 okay? It'll take a lot of work, but hey, if you ever went past out flyers, at 5,000 flyers on Texas hot summer days, hitting the apartments, running upstairs, coming down, which I've done, and fucking sitting there doing little deals, hitting 1,000 people or 2,000 people, it's nothing. Whew, nothing, dude. You know what I mean? It's so easy. So you could do that. That's 1. 2 is what I recommend. You hire a virtual assistant. You pay them $120, $150. If you guys haven't seen my video where I show you $20,000 cash, where 2 virtual assistants help us get a multi-million-dollar penthouse listing, you gotta go watch that, dude. Power of virtual assistants. And you could have these virtual assistants doing the text messaging for you, and I show you in my book how to do that. And I sell the book, which is not done yet, for $1,500, and I have a special right now, 50 for $97. But we already almost sold out at this current time. I think we only have 15 left. Okay, so go out there and get it for $97. I'll show you exactly how to have these VAs do the text messaging marketing for you. Okay. So 1 is you can text message yourself from your phone. 2 is you could do a VA, all right, and then you use a platform for them to send text messages out, and I talk about it in my book. And then 3, guys, is that you can use one of these auto robot text messaging system, which I also talk about in my other book called my massive PLM conversion system. Okay, so text messaging is very powerful. The opening rate is like 95% opening rate. The delivery rate is like 99% delivery. Everybody has it. Everybody carries it with them. And if you're not doing it, you're crazy. And the next thing is people say, well, how do I get the seller's phone numbers? Or how do I get my customers' phone numbers? Or how do I do this? And that's why I'm going to talk about my next system, Guerrilla system, which is called my massive PLM conversion. Okay? It's on my website. And what that does is 2 ideas into 1. The very first idea is that how to find the seller's phone numbers. Okay, so if you're in a piece of business and this is your little area, well, how do you find all the seller's phone numbers in this little area, right? If you're a moving company, how do you find the people's address and phone numbers in this specific apartment or this specific area that you want to target, okay? So in my book, my massive PLM system, conversion system, I talk about how to get your customers' phone numbers and the vendors that have it. That's one part of it. The other part of it is my filtering system, okay? How you're able to get a list, and instead of sending out massive letters to them and everybody and their mama, you filter out, so you have this much of a list, and you filter out, and this much, that's the ones you start marketing to if you're going to send out letters or whatever, okay? So you definitely want to get that because it's really Guerrilla, like King Kong, dude. It gets results with little amount of energy, and with today's systems, the way I teach it, man, everything can be automatic, or you can get your hands dirty and do it yourself, guys. So that was the other Guerrilla tactic. So I talked about call wrap, I talked about flyers, I talked about text messaging, I've talked about my massive PLM system, okay, very powerful. Next one I want to talk about is co-op marketing. Okay, what do I mean by co-op? Well, before I do the co-op, and I also talk about sponsoring people. They don't have to be superstars. Okay, just average people. Help them out, especially if they're in like gym settings and things of that nature, for them to be wearing your shirt. Okay, we talked about that. So let's talk about the next idea, which is co-op marketing. Now, what is co-op marketing? I used to do this a lot. Co-op marketing is whenever you go to a different company and you say, look, dude, we could do, let's say, the flyers. We could do these flyers. On the front of it, I'll put you. On the back of it, I'll put me. Okay? What I used to do is I used to go to pizza places, because I know pizza places have a certain area and they have drivers that drive there on those areas. And I would say, okay, what I'll do is I'll put your company on this flyer. It's beautifully designed, like Coca-Cola style, UV, full color, this. I mean, it looks beautiful, dude. I would hire the best designer. And In return, I'll pay for the printing, pay for the design, pay for the shipping, pay everything, and here's 20,000 flyers. And in return, what I want you to do is distribute this, because most pizza places, when they deliver, they have like a coupon, or the smart ones have a coupon on the box that says for your next order you get this. So instead of them having that little flimsy thing, I would make it really beautiful, and they could put their coupon on there, and on the back of it, it was my company, right? So I printed it and I designed it, and I got this stuff very cheap, like I just showed you where I did it, and I was using them for the distribution part. I was using for their customers, so I didn't have to go out there and distribute. I used them for distribution. And if you had, like, say, cleaning business, pizza business, a couple of these people set up for you, then they're out there promoting for you, and you're helping them with the stuff they don't know how to do, which is design a website, where to get it printed professionally, all the ideas. Very, very powerful. Again, I use stuff in my moving company all the time, dude. I would co-op with them. Now, for the real estate investing or realtor side, I would co-op with people that are like insurance adjusters or insurance companies that give insurance, like home, auto. I would partner with people that do roofing, general contractors, restaurants. I would say, hey, dude, my crew of 3 with all these people in it, we're going to be hitting this zip code, this zip code, this zip code, and I'm going to print it out. I'm going to do this. And we'll figure some kind of thing that's going to help me. If they had a big restaurant, they would put all the flyers up front, maybe put it in their to-go orders, whatever it is, dude. I would try to figure out a win-win to co-op. And what that did is decrease my expenditure in marketing, because I could have just said, look, why don't we split the cost of flyers? Or I could have said, hey, why don't I print and you distribute it? Or there's so many different ways to structure it, right? But you can use creative imagination to co-op, and what that's going to do is get you more coverage with less expenditure, okay? And you have other people helping you. They're successful in their industry, helping you get your word out there. Next idea, guys. Give me 1 second. All right, next idea is pins, okay? Very creative, very imaginative. Now think about this. I would print out pins like thousands, like 10,000, 15,000, 25,000. They would come in big boxes. And what I would do is I would hit the streets, and I would go to restaurants, like nice restaurants, like Food or Chow, things like that. I would go eat there, and when the waiter brought me my check, they usually have some generic pins from a hospital or whatever, right? What I would do is I would take his pin, I would drop 5, 4 pins in there. Next time I went in there, a couple of other waiters would have that pin. The other thing that happens is people steal pins. Like that waiter would drop that pin in this fancy restaurant, some CEO, some whatever, would see the pin and call me and use my moving company, okay? Or my real estate brokerage firm. So I would take the pins and I would distribute it at places like Starbucks. At one time, Starbucks had you to sign this stuff, okay? So they always use pens. They don't do it anymore. But places that make you sign, like restaurants, anything. I would hit the gyms. And I would drop pins because I used to work out, and I used to drop the pins, 50 here, 50 here, 50 here. And man, I'll go to Starbucks somewhere else, and I would see somebody using my pen. It was the coolest thing, because pins travel hands, and they have a great shelf life, dude. Now, pins are not something that you go put out and you get a business tomorrow. There's a possibility you can, but it's like a seed. You put these seed in. Now, if you do a combo, like say you're hitting this area with flyers, you have your sponsors there in this flyers, you have your pins going on these flyers. Now that's when you get that multiple stacking boost that's going to really get customers coming to you, because they're able to see you at multiple times. Now I have this thing called 6 for success, and it kind of talks about what I just talked about, that stacking power. A customer needs to see you 6 times. They need to see you at the minimum as 6 different medias. Okay, what do I mean? Or medium, whatever you call it. Like if I did as a sponsor where a guy's wearing a shirt at the church or at the stores or at the gym, and I'm hitting that flyer in that same exact area, and then I'm doing the pins in that same exact area, and I'm doing text message in the same exact area. See, that customer has now seen my stuff multiple times through multiple channels. And now they're thinking about me. If they're only seeing me via email all the time, or if they're only seeing me via text message all the time, or if they only see me on Facebook all the time, it's not 6 for success. So 6 for success means that you have to hit them at least 6 times. At the minimum, dude. Okay? The better you do it is better, but I'm saying the very fucking minimum, okay? 6 times. You got to reach out to them 6 times, okay? You got to hit them like with 6 different medias, like text messaging, emails, postcard, voice broadcasting, text broadcasting. They see a shirt somewhere. They get a flyer on their door. They get a flyer in their mailbox. You understand what I'm saying? And that is going to equal to success with the dollar sign. I hope that makes sense, guys. Let's see if I forgot anything. All right, guys. So I just hit up 9 guerrilla marketing tactics that you guys could implement in your business today for free. Okay, you take my information and use it. If you want the remaining 42, if you go to my website, I have a book called 42 Proven Ways to Get Free Advertisement. You can see this is 42 proven for free. This is all guerrilla stuff that I created out of my mind through my struggles of being an entrepreneur, from starting business from scratch up without borrowing any money. So there's 42 ways. The book is $219, and it talks about 42 ways to find guerrilla marketing that costs no money, zero. Okay, it's going to take sweat equity, or it's going to cost little money, like getting a t-shirt for $10, $20. We can all afford that. Not everybody can afford to run a radio ad or TV ad, but these guerrilla marketing will get you business, get you cash flow, so then you can use house money to invest in other type of advanced marketing, guys. So go on my website, download my 42 proven marketing book. It's $219. I want to say I promise you it's going to give you a lot of money, but I can't say that because I don't know if you're going to take action. You might just download it and not take any action. It's not going to work for you. It's worked for me for all these years. I was able to start a business with no credit, without any experience, without knowing left and right, without having connections, without borrowing money, without using a credit card, etc., guys. And if I can do it, I'm a schmuck, dude. You guys can do it too, dude. I'm very confident you can. You have better connections, you speak better, you write better. You can do it. And the reason, if you haven't done it, is because you haven't applied yourself. Start where you stand. Start where you stand. Start where you stand. You don't have to be perfect. Man, I made a book. I failed left and right. But I sold, dude. And we'll do a video about that later, guys. If there's any questions, let me know. If not, hustle and bustle. Don't take no for an answer. See you guys.